from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
A very good evening to you and a warm welcome to the news live from the National News Studios.
Joining you live from the National News Studio, I am Lakshita Dirasinghe.
And I'm Sharifa Tahir. We take a look at the headlines first.
Postal voting of the local government poll postponed. The President says all funds received to the government will be set aside for public needs. Heated arguments take place in the Ambalantota Pradeshiya Sabha. The Cabinet pays attention to the progress of the Sri Lanka-Thailand Free Trade Agreement. ChannelEye Rupavahini Corporation completes 41 years. A series of innovative programs will be telecast for the viewers. The number rescued from the rubble in Turkey exceeds 8,000.
On to those and other stories in detail. We start off with the top story for tonight. The Election Commission says that issue of the postal ballot papers for the upcoming local government poll will be postponed indefinitely.
The election was scheduled to be held on the 9th of March and the issue of postal ballot papers is scheduled to be conducted at 1,116 centres island-wide. However, the Election Commission informed this evening the date of issuing postal ballot papers will be announced later. Meanwhile, a meeting with secretaries of political parties, party representatives and election monitoring organizations was held at the Election Commission today. It is reported that a lengthy discussion was held at this meeting with regard to the problems arisen on the print of postal ballot papers. They have also focused attention on the announcement made by the government printer requesting funds prior to the printing of the ballot papers.
Cabinet spokesman Minister Bandula Gunawardena says that the President has told the Cabinet that all the funds received by the government will be set aside for the needs of the public. The Minister made this comment at the press briefing held to inform the Cabinet decisions today. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that the President has informed to grant financial assistance to the areas where malnutrition among the people is high. Money will also be utilized to purchase essential drugs. The monthly allowance given to pregnant mothers will be continued in order to eliminate malnutrition. In addition, grants will be provided to pay the monthly allowance for the food insecurity families, adults, disabled and kidney patients. Funds will also be allocated for Samurdhi beneficiary families. Answering a question raised by a journalist regarding the local government polls, Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that former governments obtained local and foreign debts and printed money for the day-to-day expenses. However, the present government is unable to get further loans as it has faltered payback of loans. Printing money is also impossible as the government is ready to sign an agreement with the IMF. The expected credit facility should be obtained by April unless the country cannot be steered forward. The government does not expect to postpone elections. However, the Secretary to the Treasury has been informed, or rather has informed the courts regarding the existing financial situation. There is a need to draw a new draft bill for the central bank preventing the print of money. The minister also expressed his views on a statement made by the opposition leader. He has said that the only action taken by the government in the face of the economic crisis is to shrink the economy by increasing bank interest rates. The minister expressed his views on this matter.
In the meantime, the Cabinet has granted approval for the information presented by the President as the subject minister on the progress of Sri Lanka-Thailand Free Trade Agreement. The two parties have initiated the trade agreement with the aim of increasing the value of bilateral trade from $550 million to $1.5 billion. For this purpose, the two parties are now identifying the economic capabilities and structures which can be further increased to strengthen the economic cooperation of the two states. The Cabinet has also given approval for a proposal presented by the Ports and Aviation Minister to extend the Memorandum of Understanding among the National Surveillance and Rescue Agency of the Indian Government, Civil Aviation Authority of Sri Lanka and the Indonesian Government for another 5 years. The proposal presented by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to sign an MOU to establish Bangladesh-Sri Lanka Joint Advisory Commission was also approved by the Cabinet. The Cabinet has also decided to ban the use, manufacture locally and sale of 7 disposable polythene products with effect from the 1st of June. The proposal was presented by the Minister of Environment. The Cabinet approval was also granted to prepare a new draft of excise duty. The proposal was made by President Ranil Wickremesinghe. The Japanese government is to grant 5 billion yen to Sri Lanka to enhance the health services supply network in Sri Lanka. The relevant proposal to sign an MOU that was presented by the President has been approved by the Cabinet.
All religious observances to mark the 41st anniversary of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation was held yesterday. Buddhist religious observances were held at the Sri Kalyana Dharmashramaya at the Bauddhaloka Mawata. Hindu rituals were conducted at the Pudya Kadiresan Kovil in Bambalapitiya. Christian religious service was held at the Methodist Church in Vallavatta. Islam religious observances were held at the Davatagaha Jumma Mosque. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, W.B. Ganegala, Director General Asanga Jayalat and employees of the corporation were present in these events.
The President has given instructions to the government officials to provide relief to low-income families without leaving anyone behind. Accordingly, 2.85 million families will each receive 10 kilograms of rice in March and April. President Ranil Wickremesinghe instructed officials to ensure no one in need is overlooked in providing rice to low-income families. President Ranil Wickremesinghe made these remarks today while attending a discussion related to the purchase of paddy at the Ministry of Defence. The President further instructed that the paddy be purchased, milled and the rice be distributed among low-income earners through a transparent mechanism. Previously, it was decided to allocate 10,000 million rupees to purchase 61,600 metric tons of paddy under the program of providing 2 million low-income families with 10 kilograms of rice each per month over a period of 2 months, free of charge. However, it was revealed during this discussion that 2.85 million families have been identified as being in need of this assistance. Accordingly, the President directed the officials to implement the program for all those people. This program will be implemented in all 25 districts. Attention will also be focused to stop these freely distributing rice coming to the local market. Chief of the President's staff, Sagala Ratnayaka, said that the IMF and the World Bank has also extended this support to implement this welfare program. At this meeting, President's Secretary Samaneka Nayaka said this program should be completed by the 31st of March.
To hold the local government polls, there is a period of less than a month. Public rallies and meetings are being organized these days prior to the election. Several rallies were held yesterday as well. A rally organized by the Samagi Jana Balawegaya was held in the Puttalam area.
ඒ පුජන පෙරමුණ ප්‍රමුඛ අපේ පුරුල් සන්දානය කියන එක අපි ඔබ තමුන්නාසලා මතක තබා ගන්න. ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂය කවදාවත් ජාතිවාදී පක්ෂයක් නෙවෙයි. අපි හැමදාම මේ රටේ සියලුම ජාතීන් එක ලෙස සැලකපු පක්ෂයක්.
අපි අනාගතය ගැන බලන්නේ සුබවාදී. අපේ අතින් වෙච්ච වැරදි ගැන ස්වයං විවේචනාත්මකව අපි බලනවා.
මම පැහැදිලිව තමුන්නාසලට කියන්න කැමතියි. සමගි ජන බලවේග රජයක් තුල අනිවාර්යෙන්ම රට බංකොලොත් කරපු හොරු රැළ අධිකරණය හමුවට නීතිය හමුවට ගෙනෙනවාමයි.
Parliamentarians of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna held a meeting today at the party headquarters in Battaramula regarding the propaganda activities of the local government poll. The meeting was held under the patronage of national organizer of the party, Basil Rajapaksa. The party is to hold 27 major rallies at district level. The first rally will be held in Anuradhapura on the 24th of this month. The sister parties of the Podujana Peramuna will also take part in the rally. 3,826 meetings are to be held at local government wards level.
Today is the Valentine's Day, which is meant for lovers throughout the world. Many youth usually select a red rose to express his or her love towards his or her significant other. However, a price of a red rose is too expensive at the local market these days. That means expressing love through a red rose is also a very expensive matter. Even though roses are costly, many lovers were tempted to buy a flower for his loved one. Therefore, this is our request to the florists to sell red roses at a reasonable price, at least on this Valentine's Day. Now, in the meantime, several trade unions expressed their views today regarding the government printing department's announcement that the ballot papers for the local government polls will only be printed if money is granted prior to the printing. The trade unions gathered in front of the printing department this morning. Chairman of the Podujana Peramuna Trade Union Nihal Chandrasiri said that the head of the printing department has not said that it cannot print the ballot papers. The head of the department has requested to provide financial grants before the printing of ballot papers. The department has all raw materials for this purpose. However, all postal ballot papers have already been printed. A sum of 460 million rupees is required to pay overtime allowances for the employees. Therefore, the printing department requires money.
The Colombo Magistrates Court ordered the social media activist Separ Amar Singha to be further remanded until the 24th of this month. The charge against him is allegedly making a defamatory statement against the sacred tooth relic. The complaint was summoned today before the Colombo Chief Magistrate Prasanna Alvis. The lawyer appeared for the suspect said that his client has already made a written request to the Attorney General expressing his regret over the statement. He says that he is appealing for pardon from the Mahanayaka Theras, Mahasangha and the entire Buddhist community in the world. His lawyers informed the courts that the suspect has agreed not to make any statement in future that may arouse communal or religious hatred. The courts ordered to re-summon the complaint on the 21st of this month. The Colombo Magistrate Court ordered the Colombo Chief Judicial Medical Officer and the government analyst to keep body parts and specimens of a late leading businessman Dinesh Shafter if they have any. The courts issued this order considering a request made by President's Counsel Anuj Premaratna on behalf of the rights of the Shafter family. The courts also ordered the director of the Colombo National Hospital to produce the documents pertaining to the treatments given to the deceased when he was admitted to the hospital. The case will be resummoned on the 17th of this month.
Love is common to all. However, some people enjoy love while some others lose in the quest of love. It is important for us to understand and bear the burdens of life with or without love. Lasantha met Samanthi in 2009 for the first time. Lasantha had fallen in love with Samanthi at the first glance. However, he was hesitant to express his love to her, since both are disabled persons. Lasantha is a consultant in encouraging the disabled individuals. He works at the rehabilitation hospital in Ragama. There he met Samanthi and expressed his love to her, and the elders of both families agreed to their affair, and later they got married with the blessings of the elders of both families. Samanthi is currently earning an income by sewing clothes. Lasantha also earns an additional income by repairing wheelchairs. He is also earning money as a three-wheeler driver. Even though they lost many aspects of their lives due to their disability, they have managed to win the challenges of life due to true love. Lasantha and Samanthi both teach us a valuable lesson of how to win life, disregarding the weaknesses and disabilities.
A significant place to visit in the Anuradhapura historic area is the Stone Bridge. The Stone Bridge has been built in the early stage of Anuradhapura era to cross the Malwatu Oya River. This bridge has been constructed by erecting stone columns in the river and placing stone plates on these columns. This stone bridge is a part of the road network connecting Anuradhapura historic town to the northern cities. It is reported that the Buddhist delegation that escorted the sacred sapling of Sri Mahabodhi from India in the 3rd century BC reached Anuradhapura via Dambakolapatuna in the northern province, crossing this stone bridge. According to the transcripts of Mahavansha, the Buddhist delegation, including Sanghamitta Arahat Theraniya, had spent 13 days to reach Anuradhapura town from the Dambakolapatuna in Jaffna. It is mentioned that the stone bridge has been constructed during the rule of King Mahasen.
In other stories, a heated argument was ongoing at the Ambalanthota Pradeshya Sabha today while the session was currently in place. Thereafter, the 3 members of the JVP left the council.
The UNP councillor of the Pradeshya Sabha raised the question whether the JVP members obtained the allowances paid by the Pradeshya Sabha. Then the acting chairman of the Ambalanthota Pradeshya Sabha, Hemachandra Illesinghe, said that all the 5 JVP members of the council obtained all relevant allowances and benefits. At that time, the JVP councillors stood up to express their views. However, the members of the other parties staged protests preventing the JVP members expressing their views. Then a heated argument went on in the council and the 3 JVP members left the council. Then a member of the governing party of the council accused that a JVP councillor has earned a huge sum of money by cheating the youth in the Ambalanthota area, promising job opportunities in Thailand.
Love is common for humans and all living beings. We frequently talk about human love. However, on this Valentine's Day, there is a marvelous love story reported from the Dehiwala Zoological Gardens. A female jaguar named Laya has been living alone in the zoo for over several years. Her loneliness ended today as a male jaguar joined her at the cage. This male has been brought to the Dehiwala Zoo from the Netherlands under the Animal Exchange Program. This new couple has been introduced to the visitors in line with the Valentine's Week declared in the zoo. The Dehiwala Zoo has also implemented several programs aiming the entertainment of children visiting the zoo these days. And that's all the stories from home. We'll be back with news from overseas after this short break.
Love story ekata fun rasa add karagena hot and spicy Happy Valentine's Day! Prima Kottumi share the hot and spicy love every day. Prima Kottumi, fun tamai.
In news from overseas, the death toll from the earthquakes in Turkey goes past 37,000.
Turkish authorities say 31,974 people have been killed in the country, while more than 5,800 people are dead in Syria, according to the UN and the Syrian government. Turkey President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said that more than 8,000 people have been pulled out alive from rubble following the earthquake. Meanwhile, World Health Organization has said that Turkey quakes is the worst natural disaster in Europe in a century. The World Health Organization's director for Europe, which includes Turkey, Hans Klug, said that the earthquakes are the worst natural disaster in 100 years in the region. WHO Regional Director for Europe, addressing a press conference, said that they are still learning about its magnitude. Syria is a member of the World Health Organization's neighboring Eastern Mediterranean region. More than 37,000 people were killed and 80,000 others injured in the magnitude 7.8 and 7.6 earthquakes centered in the city of Kahramanmaras that happened on the hours apart on February 6. The twin tremors affected 10 provinces in Turkey and killed thousands of others in Syria, and the death toll continues to rise in both countries. Many victims are still trapped under collapsed buildings across the region. The massive disaster raised the question of earthquake preparedness in Istanbul, Turkey's business and tourism capital, hosting some 16 million people. Scientists have said that the megalopolis is under imminent threat from a strong quake, perhaps multiple ones. Turkish authorities have issued 113 arrest warrants in connection with the construction of buildings that collapsed, with 12 people taken into custody, including contractors. For years, experts warned that many new buildings in Turkey were unsafe due to endemic corruption and government policies. Reports have indicated that those policies allowed amnesties for contractors who skewed building regulations in order to encourage a construction boom, including in earthquake-prone regions. Thousands of buildings collapsed during the earthquake, raising questions about whether the natural disaster's impact was made worse by human failings. The search for survivors resumed under the protection of the Turkish army. Across southern Turkey and northern Syria, millions are homeless and temperatures continue to drop below freezing on a nightly basis. The United Nations has warned that more than 800,000 people are without adequate meals, and its aid agency on the ground is warning the final death toll from the quake is likely to double. Meanwhile, the border crossing between Turkey and Armenia reopened on Saturday for the first time in 35 years to allow aid through.
Meanwhile, New Zealand's Prime Minister says Cyclone Gabrielle, which has pummeled much of the North Island, is a weather event not seen in a generation. The New Zealand government declared a state of emergency, only the third in New Zealand's history. Around a third of the population of the country lives in the affected areas. Many people are displaced and some were forced to swim from their homes to safety after rivers burst their banks. Others have been rescued from rooftops. About 250,000 people are without power. Falling trees have smashed houses and landslides have carried others away and blocked roads. The emergency order enables the government to streamline its response to the disaster. It has been applied to the Northland, Auckland, Tairawiti, Tararua, Bay of Plenty, Waikato and Hawke's Bay regions. Authorities in the affected areas have said they are unable to cope with the scale of the damage. The KB Prime Minister has pledged $7.3 million in aid to support those affected by the disaster. Declaring the national state of emergency this morning, the Minister for Emergency Management described the storm as unprecedented.
Happy Valentine's Day! Prima Kottumisha, the hot and spicy love every day.
Welcome back, and we move on to sports news now. Executive Committee of the Sri Lanka Cricket has decided to increase the payments made to the players of Sri Lanka women's cricket team. The committee informed this decision today.
The committee has taken this decision at the meeting held on the 31st of January. Accordingly, the payment of $250 for the T20 and one-day players has been increased up to $750. Other players of the team will be paid 25% of the match fee. Meanwhile, at an international match win, each player will be paid a sum of $250. Sri Lanka Cricket has taken this decision to encourage women players. This decision is effective from the 1st of January this year.
That's it. Sri Lanka win here at Newland.
The unofficial three-match one-day cricket series between Sri Lanka A-team and England Lions will begin tomorrow. All the matches will be played in the R. Premadasa Stadium in Colombo. Veteran player Angela Matthews has also been included in the Sri Lanka A-team.
Happy Valentine's Day! Prima Kottumisha, the hot and spicy love every day.
And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news. And thank you very much for tuning in. Together with Lakshita, I'm Sharifa wishing you a very pleasant night.
Good night.
Expression of interests are invited for the selection of broadcast partners for ChannelEye by the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. For more details, please visit the Rupavahini website www.rupavahini.lk.
I'm at a party I don't wanna be at, and I don't ever wear a suit and tie. Wondering if I can sneak out the back. Nobody's even looking me in my eyes. You take my hand, finish my drink, say shall we dance? Hell yeah. You know I love you, did I ever tell you? You make it better like that. Don't think I fit in at this party. Everyone's got so much to say. Yeah, I always feel like I'm nobody. Who wants to fit in anyway? 'Cause I don't care when I'm with my baby, yeah. All the bad things disappear. You're making me feel that maybe I am somebody. I can deal with the bad nights when I'm with my baby, yeah. 'Cause I don't care as long as you just hold me near. You can take me anywhere. You're making me feel like I'm loved by somebody. I can deal with the bad nights when I'm with my baby, yeah. We at a party we don't wanna be at. Trying to talk but we can't hear ourselves. Pictureless, I'd rather kiss them right back. But all these people all around, I'm crippled with anxiety. But I'm told it's where I'm supposed to be. You know what? It's kinda crazy 'cause I really don't mind. Can you make it better like that? Don't think we fit in at this party. Everyone's got so much to say. Oh yeah, yeah. When we walked in I said I'm sorry, but now I think that we should stay. 'Cause I don't care when I'm with my baby, yeah. All the bad things disappear. You're making me feel like maybe I am